129 dividing by decimals. I'm going to start you off with pretty easy here. We're going to start with a whole number. 7 divided by 0.1, otherwise known as 1/10. So the first thing I want to do is take this decimal right here and turn it into a fraction. So I'm going to do 7 divided by 1/10. Now we know how to do this. We're just asking ourselves how many tenths are in 7 wholes. Well, in one whole, in one whole there are 10 tenths. So in 7 wholes there must be 70 tenths. So if I'm looking back here, 7 divided by tenths, how many tenths are in 7 wholes? And we answered that it would be 70. So pretty easy to start off. Let's try something by the hundredths. This time we're going to do 7 wholes divided by 1/100th. So again, we have 7 divided by 1/100th. Asking how many hundredths are in 7 wholes. Well, in one whole, there's 100 1/100ths. So in 7 wholes, we're going to multiply by 7, and that would give us 700 hundredths. So our answer to 7 divided by 1/100th, there are 700 total hundredths. Now, I'm going to show you how to do this if you have a place value chart, or even if you don't have a place value chart, just how you can think about it differently. All right, so let's say you have a place value chart that looks like this. We've seen one of these before. Pretty simple. We got our place values at the top, our decimals here. Now, when we were first learning how to say things, we would say the whole number here. At the decimal place, we would say and. Then we would say the whole number here, and we would end with whatever place value it ended at. For example, if you had something like, oops, I'm sorry. If you had 2.345, you would say 2 and 345 thousandths, right? We'd say whatever place value was last. Now, let's say I wanted to look at this equation up here. The whole number was 7. So if I would write that in my place value charts, it would just be 7. Now, I have 7 and nothing, so I just say 7. If I add a 0 here, does it still say 7? Yep. Still says 7, still says 7, still says 7, still says 7. Doesn't matter how many zeros I add. But what I want to do is I just want to add 1 0 and end at the tenths place because I'm dividing by 1/10. Does that make sense? So this now tells me how many tenths are in 7 wholes. I'm going to ignore the decimal and I'm just going to say 70 and then the last place value tenths. So this is 70 tenths, and that is my answer up here too that I got, 70 tenths. Let's try it again over here. So still starting with 7, this time I'm dividing by hundredths. So I want my number to end in the hundredths place. So I'm going to do whole number 7, add a 0, still says 7, add a 0, still says 7. But now when I say it out loud, I'm going to ignore the decimal and say 700 hundredths. And up here, when I did 7 divided by 1/100th, I got 700 hundredths. Let's try with some more complex numbers. What if you had 7 and 4/10 divided by 1/10? 7.4 divided by 1/10. Well, in 7 wholes, that's 70 tenths. In 4/10, well, that's easy. You can hear it when I say it. In 4/10, there's 4/10. So when I add those together, that's 74 tenths. So when I solve my equation up here, 7 and 4/10 divided by 1/10, that's a total of 74. Now, if I put that in my place value chart, I'm going to start with 7.4 and I want to end at the tenths place. So I'm going to write 7 and 4/10, and I don't need to add any zeros because look, I'm already in the tenths place. If I ignore the decimal, I can say 74 tenths, which is the answer I got right here. So it does work. Let's try one more, this time in the thousands place. So I'm going to have 7.4 divided by, actually we're going to do hundredths place, 100th. So now it's 0.01, which means 100th. 7.4 divided by 1 out of 100. Now, in 7 wholes, that's 700 hundredths. Do you know how many hundredths are in 4/10? Let's try it on our place value chart. 7 and 4/10. I'm not in the hundredths place yet. I'm still in the tenths place, so I'm going to add a 0, which will not change my number. So now it's 7 and 4/10, but I added a 0 to make it to the hundredths place. If I ignore the decimal and say my number, it says 740 hundredths. So over here, 7.4 divided by hundredths, that's going to give me 740 hundredths. All right, last one we'll try together before I mess this up. We're going to do 5 and 2/10 divided by, actually we'll do 5 and 21 hundredths divided by 100th. Now I'm going to write this in my place value chart, 5 and 21 hundredths, and I'm trying to figure out how many total hundredths are in this number. In 5 wholes, I have 500 100ths. In 21 hundredths, you can hear me say it, it's 21 hundredths. 500 100ths plus 21 100ths equals 521 hundredths. So my answer should be 521. On my place value chart, if I ignore the decimal, I can say 521 hundredths. So in 5 and 21 hundredths, how many hundredths are there? 521. So that is it for today. Let me show you what you're doing for your problem set. So for this lesson, you are going to go ahead and do the problem set 1A through H. Please pick at least 4 to try on your own. 2A through I, pick 5 of them. 3, go ahead and solve. You got a short little story problem. 4 and 5, you may go ahead and skip. You're doing the full exit ticket, and please submitting to Seesaw. Have a great day, guys.